So, what's up, Mark? First off, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Enjoy the Grind, where I interview hockey players and get a chance to hear what great stories and where their past led them. So, today's interview is with two-time Stanley Cup winner Mark Hartigan. I'm going to start off with a little intro. I am proud to have Mark as my coach a couple of times so far in my young playing days. Mark has had an amazing hockey career. He has played for Humboldt Broncos and Weyburn Red Wings of the SJHL, St. Cloud State University Div 1 of the NCAA, Chicago Wolves, Syracuse Crunch, Portland Pirates, Grand Rapids Griffins of the AHL. He has also played for the Atlanta Thrashers, Columbus Blue Jackets, and Anaheim Ducks and Detroit Red Wings of the NHL. After his playing days in the NHL, he went across the pond to play for Dynamo Riga, CSKA, Moskva of the KHL, Rapperswil Jona in the Swiss League, NLA, and finished off in Linköping HC of the Swedish Hockey League. Man oh man, Mark, looking at your stats, you were the boss. 1996-97, winning the SJHL championship and also the scoring leader and MVP of the Royal Bank Cup. 1997-98, SJHL scoring leader, most valuable player and player of the year award. 2000-2001 NCAA champion. 2001-2002 NCAA scoring leader, NCAA player of the year award, NCAA First All-Star Team, NCAA West First All-American Team, and NCAA Top Collegiate Player Hobie Baker Finalist Award. 2005-2006, selected to play in the AHL All-Star Game, and last but not least, 2006-2007, NHL Stanley Cup champion with the Anaheim Ducks, 2007-2008, NHL Stanley Cup champ with the Detroit Red Wings. What a resume, man.
Wow, let's just leave it at that. Great interview. You pumped my tires. I'm good.
So we're going to dive right into the questions. So going back to your days in the SJHL, you had some good years with Weyburn. What was it like winning the championship and playing for the Royal Bank Cup?
Well, going back there, it was many days ago. It was exciting. Hockey was just a lot of fun being with your buddies, just like you play right now with your buddies, going on those long bus rides. It was a lot of fun. I was fortunate enough to be on a really couple good teams there in Weyburn, and I met my wife in Weyburn. And as you know her, Melissa.
Mm-hmm. So you must have had an amazing tourney if you were named Royal Bank Cup Tournament MVP.
I did, surprisingly. It was just one of those weekends that I was playing really well. My line mates were playing really well and scored a lot of goals. Unfortunately, we didn't win the Royal Bank Cup that year. That was the sad part. That was a really fun weekend, though.
How old were you when you first started getting noticed by teams or scouts?
Probably when I won the Royal Bank Cup MVP. Right around then, by the end of that year. That's when I started getting a lot more attention. Letters in the mail. You probably guys, young kids, don't know what those are, but we actually got letters in the mail, not emails. But yeah, that was right around then.
How old were you at that time?
I was 19 years old.
Were you putting in the extra work to stand out above the rest, or were you just really talented?
No, it's a very good question. I put in a lot of work. I was always the first one on the ice. I was always going to find as much ice time wherever I could. So I really loved playing hockey, being out there on the ice. So I never consider it work. It was more of a just loving just loving the game of hockey, and other people's from the outside point of view always seen it as doing a lot of work, but I never consider it being work. And we never had as much off ice training as you guys did back when I was 19 and 20 years old, or even in my teens. We still went to the gym, but not as what these kids do nowadays.
Did you get any other NCAA offers or WHL offers? What made you choose St. Cloud State University?
Good question again. Yes, I did get a couple other offers. I was like Michigan State, Northeastern, and Lake Superior universities were other offers that I had. And then so with universities, during your junior career, you can go down and fly down to these schools for a couple days and check them out. St. Cloud was the first one I went and looked at, and I loved it. And plus, I had to miss one hockey game with Weyburn, and I didn't like that because I loved hockey. So I didn't want to go on any more fly downs. That one was good. I liked the school. It was a great size, and so I committed to them.
What was Div 1 University hockey like?
The best hockey the best part of my hockey career ever. D1 University was the most fun I ever had playing hockey, and I recommend it for a lot of people. If you can, if you're talented enough and able to work hard, like you said, and do the work in school, and you have an opportunity to go university, definitely go that route. It's wonderful.
Was it crazy winning the WCHA tournament with St. Cloud? You guys had a stacked team. You, Matt Hendricks, Brian Murray, and Jeff Finger, just to name a few.
Yeah, that was a fun. We were a fun bunch, on and off the ice. We had a great time. Winning that just kind of topped it all off. It was a lot of. It was the first time for the school too, and for us winning. So that was a big moment for our team and our school.
How was your time in the AHL? Is it a dog-eat-dog league because everyone is trying to get that call up to the big club?
Yeah, well, it is. You got to try to, you learn to become a professional, like a professional hockey player, professional with kind of with the business thing, and learning more about how the hockey world works and the other side of the hockey world works. So it is a bit of a grind. It's not as glamorous as NHL. We don't get to take private jets all over the place. You have to take the bus. And, the games, it's a lot of games all at once. They crunch them into a short amount of days, so it becomes a grind that way. So, it's fun, but it's not. You learn it becomes a job very quickly.
So how did you end up playing for Atlanta Thrashers? I don't see anything about you getting drafted to the NHL.
That's right. I was a free agent. I was never drafted to the NHL, and that's what kids need to realize. If you love playing hockey, you don't always need to be drafted. And just because if you miss your draft year doesn't mean you're never going to make the NHL. I was called more of a late bloomer. I started being noticed by the NHL teams when I started playing. Our team was playing well, I was playing well, and and I learned a lot more about hockey in university. So becoming a late bloomer, I was already past my draft year. So Atlanta was recruiting me along with some other NHL teams, and I decided to sign with Atlanta after my university.
Nice.
And they gave me lots of money.
What was going through your mind when you won your first Stanley Cup?
That's a good question. A lot excited, a lot of emotions. I'm sure if you ever win the Stanley Cup, your dad would be crying on the ice as my dad was on my shoulder. So yeah, it was a very exciting, and yeah, and we have all our family on the ice and in the after parties as well. So it was quite the time.
Any chance that I could see your Stanley Cup rings?
Absolutely. Which one do you wanna? Okay, here's the box for it. There's the box. There's my name. This is the Anaheim one. So here's the Dusty. I don't know if you can see it. Piece of black kind of broke off, but there's that.
That looks
and then,
nice.
Then on the side, can you read that? Is it too close?
It says like 16/5/2007.
Yeah. And so the 16-5, that means you need 16 wins to win the Stanley Cup. So our record was 16-5 in the playoffs. And then you'll see it just says California's first cup in small writing right there, because it's California first Stanley Cup for a California team. And Jace, you'll like this one. There's my number and my name. I think you're gonna like the number.
13. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. There's that, and so they have a little coin in there as well that goes with it.
Nice.
And I got a bunch of different rings in here. There's when I was a Weyburn when we won. They're not as big or glamorous, but just as special. Great memories. Here's a Detroit box. I have a few different items in this one. So let's open this one up. Pretty big, hey?
Yep.
Lots of diamonds on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the side,
You're number 44?
yep, number 44 with Detroit. And then on this side, those are images of like all the Stanley Cups that Detroit has won in the past.
So that
So a
was
lot of
their 11th cup?
This was, what does it have? 2, 4, 5. Yep, bingo. Fast counter. Better than me. And then inside, as you know, when you're on a team, can you read that in the inside?
Family?
Yep, because they're all family. And knowing that, that includes even our family, like our wives and stuff. So all the wives got one of these.
Nice.
Pretty nice. It's just like the front of my ring.
Mm-hmm. But instead it's a necklace.
I mean, exactly. So it's lots of great times there, great people, great memories. Those are pretty good, pretty cool. Hey, they're pretty big.
Those are really cool.
I'll give you a little side by side at the end here. There we go.
I think the Detroit one's better.
It's bigger. It's worth more. Well, it was Anaheim's first Stanley Cup, so they're just learning.
Out of all the teams you played for, what team did you enjoy playing on the most?
Oh, that's a tough one. It depends on if you... At every level, it's different. If we're talking about NHL, I would say Detroit. Detroit was really, really neat because all the history, all the great people, management, everybody, the whole team was great. I really enjoyed, like I said, like St. Cloud, my teams through there. Those were all awesome. I love those. I never really had bad teams. You know, even though you saw lots of my traveling there, you read off all the places. So I lived in a lot of places. But I really enjoyed a couple of my Syracuse Crunch teams, my I don't have any bad ones. Let's say that.
Junior time playing, is there a team that stands out to you that showed a lot of chemistry?
You say for junior? Sorry, ask that question again.
Junior time playing, is there a team that stands out to you that showed a lot of chemistry?
Out of all the teams I played on?
Yeah.
Well, all our winning teams, whenever we won, there was always, you got to have really good chemistry. So if you look at all the teams like in the Weyburn, my Weyburn teams, great chemistry. St. Cloud, great chemistry. There's been a few teams where in the NHL, because there's lots of movements, so let's say Columbus or Atlanta, there's players coming up. There's lots of players in and out of the organization, so you don't really have time to get good chemistry, where teams like Detroit, where they had pretty much a core of players that they're not going anywhere. It's and the chemistry is already built. So you're usually going to find good chemistry on good teams.
Do you have a coach that you can say that you like to play for the most, or that taught you the most?
I take a little bit from all coaches. You know what? Sometimes you hear what you've already heard from another coach. In Syracuse, I like Gary Agnew. I liked in Weyburn, Dwight McMillan, very old school. There was, I liked it in like even St. Cloud. Our coach Craig Dahl was good. And Detroit, Mike Babcock. A lot of people don't like him. I liked him because he was fair to me and he told me the truth. So I really, whether it was good or bad, he told me what I needed to hear, and I liked that.
What team did you play on that had the most exciting fans?
Ooh, I would have to say probably Riga, Latvia, in the KHL, Dynamo Riga. Oh my God, they are nutso. After this interview, look up Latvian hockey fans, and even at the Olympics, look them up. They'll be like, holy man, they're awesome. Really had a great. They were great.
What did they go most crazy about?
Oh, it seemed like everything. they are always just up in arms. Have you seen some of those crazy soccer games, like in the soccer stadiums, like highlights, where they're just crazy over in Europe? They're very similar to that, but just with less people, with like 15,000 people. The soccer games, there's probably 100,000 people, but in hockey games, in Riga, there's about 15,000, and they're very passionate. And again, there's great fans everywhere. Lots of the teams that I played on were, really great fans. But them as a whole, they were great.
What about in Detroit? Like whenever someone got a hat trick, it would be like octopuses or something?
Yeah, after big wins in the playoffs, they would. It started with a tradition. The Zamboni guy. If you see him, he would start flinging around his head after he picks it up. So I can't remember why it started, but after a win in the playoffs, there always seemed to be somebody throwing a big, ugly-looking octopus onto the ice, and it was creepy. But then you see the guy that goes cleans it up. He's the same guy that drives the Zamboni at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, and he'd pick it up and get the fan going, twirling it over his head, and the whole crowd would go nuts.
Do you have a favorite city that you like to live in?
Live in? I really liked Riga, Latvia. That was really cool. Where's some? Where else was good? If I have to pick a favorite, I don't know. Another good question. I never thought about that. I really liked my time in Minnesota, like St. Cloud and Minneapolis in that area. That's probably my favorite.
Why is that?
Because it still feels like Canada. You still get all 4 seasons. They have the NFL there, NBA, the WNBA, NHL. They got all the major sports there, and they got a bunch of lakes around there, and it's a really great for family life as well. So that's why I love it so much.
Do you still follow any of your old teams?
Yeah, I still follow them. I think I cheer for Edmonton the most now, but I was always a fan of the Oilers growing up around this area. But I more follow my friends, what teams they're on now, because there's really nobody on that I know on any of the teams that I played for in the past. Except for, there's some Detroit, still a couple Detroit players playing there, like Darren Helm. But that's about it, just kind of following friends that I played with.
If you could steal any player's skill, what would it be and from who?
Oh, that question, easy. Pavel Datsyuk. The stuff that he could do with the puck all over the ice, that if you're a huge fan of hockey and know how hard it is in certain areas of the ice and what he can do in making plays with the puck, that's what I call him, the Magic Man. It's like, how did he just do that? I can't really explain it without watching it in video, because you got to watch some of the stuff. It's not just his goals, or it's like the way he makes plays out of the defensive zone, the ways he makes plays coming over top of the blue line with two guys on him, and his back-checking skills, like stealing pucks from the other team and turning and going back the other way. It's amazing what he could do.
What was your favorite hockey team growing up, and do you have a favorite memory from that team?
I think, again, Edmonton Oilers. I did cheer for the Boston Bruins as well, but I think it was when I did go to my first NHL game and going down to the glass, in warm-ups. Have you done that? Going down NHL game? Getting to see them up close, NHL players up close, and seeing how big they were, and I think that was one of my favorite moments, going to the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton and at my first game and watching them play.
Do you have a favorite hockey ground, like Bauer, Warrior, CCM, like that sorts?
Well, for hockey sticks, Warrior. I really like Warrior. I just actually got a couple new ones in. I got sent to me from Warrior. They're pretty cool looking too. I probably should show you. With skates, wearing Bauers now. I wore Eastons a lot, but they broke down pretty easy. But I never used anything CCM. It just never worked well for me.
What is your pre-game meal?
It kind of changed, but on average, chicken breast and some pasta, and maybe a little bit of salad in there. And yeah, nothing crazy. Some guys used to eat steaks and stuff. In the NHL, you can get steak, salmon, chicken. In the American League, in the AHL, it's just chicken and pasta.
Do you have a favorite pump-up or warm-up song?
Ooh. Cotton Eye Joe? I'm just kidding. It would probably be a Metallica song.
You play with some of the best players ever. Who was the best player you ever played with?
Again, I think it's probably Pavel Datsyuk is up there. I played, with quite a few in there. Nicholas Lidstrom. You see Solani, Scott Niedermayer. I think those guys were just great players. At times, you're just sitting back on the bench and going, "Wow, they are great."
Who's the best leader or captain you ever had, and why?
I think it goes to Nick Lidstrom and Scott Niedermayer again, because they don't say much, because they show all their leadership on the ice. They play the right way, play the game the right way. They play hockey amazingly. But when they do talk, everybody listens, because usually when they do talk, they have something worth listening to, and that is very meaningful. They're very smart men, and they know the game very well. So I always looked up to how they acted, how they played, and how their personality was.
Who was the funniest guy in the dressing room you played with in the NHL? Was it you?
Yeah, only when I took my shirt off. No, I definitely was not. Ryan Malone was funny, but that wasn't in the NHL. He played in the NHL, but he was funny. Going back, there's a few characters. Everybody, it was usually kind of like 3 or 4 guys, and like some of the jokes that they would kind of play off each other that you would watch. Every once in a while, I would be one of those 3 or 4 guys, and just kind of listening, and the chemistry some people had, and being able to joke with people, other players. That's what makes hockey so much fun, right? In the locker room, listening to the jokes and seeing all the different characters. But I can't say there was one particular one that stands out to me. We're all funny looking.
Who is the hardest player you ever played against?
Hardest player? There's definitely a few of them. Pronger's pretty hard to play against. He was scary because he would rip your head off or break your arm. Because he didn't really care. So Pronger was definitely up there. Chris Simon is definitely, you'd have to look him up. But that's, like, all those big D-men, like in front of the net, they would always make you a little bit nervous, because they wouldn't mind breaking their stick on the back of your back when you're standing in front. So there was but I would put up Chris Pronger and Chris Simon. Darn Chris's.
Was there one player that stood out to you that could have been great if they just would have taken hockey more seriously and trained harder?
There was a few people. You never know what people are thinking, but right off the top of my head, like, to give you a name, I don't know. But there's definitely been a few players that I've played with in the past. You're just like, how did they not make it further, or what happened? Some people just take a different path. And like you were saying earlier in the interview, some of those players may have considered going on the ice as work. I never considered it as work. I considered it just wanting to go on the ice and play hockey and have fun and just try to get better. And they may have saw it differently. And that's where we talk about passion for the game. A lot of times kids get not liking hockey anymore as they get older. So, that's the path they take. But there's definitely been quite a few good hockey players that just never may have made it to where they wanted to.
Was there a time that you had to make a big decision in your hockey career, and what was it?
When I talk about big decisions, I'm not really sure. Like there are certain times, like signing with a school, I always just followed my gut, and I never thought of it as a big decision. I felt that it was the right thing, and if it ended up not being the right thing, I would make the decision to make it right on my own. So I don't think there's no bad decision. It's if you think you made the wrong one, make it right by doing whatever you need to do.
Do you have a favorite hockey memory that stands out to you?
Yeah, there's certain ones. You mentioned a few of them. Like, there's my first NHL goal was exciting. One of my big injury in my second NHL game, that stands out, not as a good one. The Stanley Cups were good. Were big memories. There's probably a big group of big moments in your hockey career that stand out. Yeah.
I see that you played 2 games for the Stanley Cup. What was that like?
Oh yeah, the Team Canada, that was exciting. And it's up in Davos, Switzerland, and it's a beautiful ski area. It was it was nice to. I wish I could have played for them when I was in the KHL, but when you're playing for the Russian league, we're not allowed to go over to play for the Spangler Cup because we play games at that time as well. So when I did go play in Switzerland and Sweden, I had the opportunity to go play. I chose to go play for them. It was nice to put on the Canadian jersey. I have a Team Canada logo on the back, tattooed on the back of my back. So it was always a dream to put that on and that jersey, and that was incredible.
How was your time in the KHL in Russia?
It was a learning experience because the culture is different. The hockey's a bit different. There was lots of learning to do when I went over there, but it was definitely exciting, and getting to see that side of the world was really neat, and realizing how huge Russia really is. Lots of flying over there. Yeah.
How did you end up in the KHL?
It's just another good hockey opportunity for myself after the NHL. I felt like there wasn't a lot for me to. I wasn't sure if I was going to get another NHL contract, so I thought it was a better opportunity to go over to the KHL and try to have some fun and see the world.
Did you learn any other languages playing over there?
I started to learn some Russian. You kind of have to started picking up the alphabet, and certain things. But I think it was the most of a different language that I learned was probably the Russian. But I wasn't fluent. I learned how to get around in taxis, and say the little things.
Do you miss playing competitive hockey?
I do at certain times. I definitely do. I miss the competitiveness of hockey, whether it's I miss certain aspects. I miss scoring goals. That feeling after you score a goal, that feeling, right? That excitement. You miss those. The feeling after a big win. I miss the being around all the guys and just talking with them in the locker room, all that joking around. Those are the parts I miss the most.
And lastly, do you have any advice that you could give me for my hockey career?
Don't take it too serious. Have fun. Don't be hard on yourself, but always want more. Just want to get better. Don't. If you have a bad game, it's going to happen. Hockey's about mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay. That's, when you score a goal, somebody else made a mistake on the other team. So it's not that you're trying to. I think it's just have fun with it. Don't be too hard on yourself, and just always be willing to listen and learn from other people.
So I want to thank you for taking this time with me and enjoy the grind, and I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best in the new year in your life after hockey. Thanks again, Mike.
Thanks, bud. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on.
You're welcome.